Agent, in this file you will find a complete dossier for Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man. His history, thematic connection to his Marvel Champions cards, and Agent sketches final thoughts on his kit and what aspects suit him best. Be sure to hit that like button to inform your supervisor that you have completed reading the documents enclosed. Subscribe button to ensure that you are receiving this information at the correct address. And leave any additional notes that need to be added to the file in the comment section below. Open this file with caution, and let's begin. Scott Lang, alias Ant-Man. His known affiliations are with Stark Industries, the Fantastic Four, Future Foundation, the Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy. He is 6 feet tall, depending on whether he has actually used Pym particles to shrink or not. He has red hair, blue eyes, and weighs 190 pounds. He was born in Coral Gables, Florida. His current residence? The Milano with the Guardians of the Galaxy. His known powers and abilities. He can shrink as small as he wants to or as large as he wants to using the power of the Pym particle. He can speak with ants using the helmet that allows him to communicate with ants. It's a pretty nifty tool if you ask me. He's also an electronics expert with the ability to modify machines and make them do what he wants. And of course, he has been locked away before as a master thief. When we first meet Scott Lang, he's an electronics expert. Unable to support his family, he starts a life of burglary, and is soon arrested and eventually released on good behavior. During his incarceration, however, he does undergo a divorce, but gets some more training on his electronics expert abilities and is hired by Stark Industries. Custody became a difficult thing when it came to Cassie Lang, his daughter. But his wife and him were able to work things out until they discovered that Cassie had a heart condition. Learning about this, Scott ran over and actually stole Hank Pym's suit with the Ant-Man, change abilities, Pym particles, helmet, the whole nine, and went to find a special doctor that could take care of Cassie's special heart condition. In the process of doing so, he was able to rescue the doctor from Darren Cross, with Hank Pym watching him the entire time. After seeing his noble actions even after the thievery, Hank Pym told him he could keep the suit as long as he was willing to use it for good. Eventually, Stain bought out Stark Industries, and Lang, working well with Mr. Stark, decided that he wasn't going to work there anymore, so he resigned. And he started his own electronic business, but was soon hired by the Fantastic Four and served on their team while Reed Richards was missing. He and his daughter got to live actually at the Fantastic Four headquarters. After a time, Scott Lang helped the Avengers stop Kang the Conqueror, and in doing so, he was offered a full-time position on the Avengers team. After becoming an Avenger, his wife did do a custody battle with him over Cassie, questioning the safety of Scott and his lifestyle that he was living as a superhero. And of course, to prove her right, she was captured by a villain. Lucky for Scott Lang, Jack of Hearts was willing to help him out and did help save Cassie. But in doing so, Jack of Hearts died in the process. During Avengers Disassembled, Jack of Hearts showed back up, and Scott Lang ran out there to meet him to find out, why is he back? How did he come back? And just to catch up with his old friend. And it was at that point that Jack of Hearts exploded, killing Lang in the process. Fear not, though. Cassie Lang eventually became her own superhero known as Stature, and went back in time with some young Avengers to save her father. And they were able to bring him back to the present. However, soon after, they did a battle with Dr. Doom, and Cassie was killed in the line of duty. And Scott swore vengeance against Doom. He then became the head of the Future Foundation, while the Fantastic Four were out working on fixing something about their powers. During this time, Scott was able to defeat Dr. Doom and get his vengeance. He left the Fantastic Four soon after. During the Axis event, Doom actually flipped and felt so bad for killing Cassie that he actually brought Cassie back to life. And Scott then started a security company to stay close to his daughter and do less superheroing so that he wouldn't put her life in more danger. However, Hydra did their thing and they started the Secret Empire and began to take over the world. And as they did so, they kidnapped Cassie. They made Scott Lang a mole in the Avengers. Scott gave them information to help them kind of continue to win the war, but eventually he stopped them from doing what they were doing and joined the Avengers in the fight. He felt bad about the effects that he had on Hydra taking over. So terrible, in fact, that he jumped on the Guardian ship and has left And that is the last known piece of information that we have on the whereabouts of Scott Lang. Let's take a look at his cards in his hero kit. First, we will start with the strange part about his cards in both his Pym particles and his Ant-Man's helmet that indicate that when he goes to giant form or spins this card in giant form that he gains healing. We don't see that anywhere in his powers. It feels a little odd, but it is a part of his kit. Strange that they would include that in part of Ant-Man's abilities. I'm not sad about it, but it is something that just seems out of the ordinary. However, there are some cards that really do match the powers and abilities of Scott Lang. First off, you have the tiny form, which allows him to communicate with ants and use the hive mind ability. And he is able to have them do great amount of thwart, as well as, do a little bit of extra pinch damage from his ants. Fantastic abilities and powers in which he can do a little bit of chip damage along the way. And the fact that he's able to thwart a little bit better in this form is incredibly powerful. He's able to deal with thwart in ways that some of his other areas are not able to. On the flip side, when you open up his card, he has the giant form. And as the giant form, the giant stomp and the giant strength make perfect sense. He gets a lot stronger. In fact, his strength reaches a power level of being able to lift 50 tons in this form, and he's even able to take on hits better from the likes of Dr. Doom's Rays and other such things. Ground stomp is really neat to see when he's making that stomp and doing a great amount of damage to somebody, and then dealing reverberating damage to the rest of the folks that are around that character. And of course, going into that form, he does gain extra strength, which that strength boost he gets from giant strength is just fantastic. And then if you look at his hero card, being able to defend better and attack better, and a giant form like this makes a world of difference and really suits his strengths and abilities there, matching that to the likes of Hulk. Finally, two cards that really match his powers are Resize and Wrist Gauntlets. The Wrist Gauntlets are a little strange in the fact that, we don't really talk about the Wrist Gauntlets, but the fact that you're getting stunned or confused based on how the card is used, either in giant form or in tiny form, it does make perfect sense that you would be both stunned and confused by someone turning super large and then someone being super small and punching you just as hard as if they were at the same power level of a regular standing human. And of course, for him to have a card in his kit called Resize that allows him to change forms faster than the average hero is a pretty incredible feat. This card is unique to Ant-Man and is a great way to make his kit really function well. His number one on-theme card, though, has to be his obligation, his care for Cassie. This makes perfect sense. His heart, his desires have always been for his daughter, and that's who he wants to take care of, and that's who he wants to protect, and that's who he really will go out of his way to make sure is taken care of above all else, as we saw throughout his history. Some strange cards that might be in his kit is the Wasp. It doesn't really make sense that the Wasp would be in his kit. It'd make more sense if maybe Hank Pym had the Wasp, because Hank Pym is the one tied to Janet and that version of the Wasp. I think it would have been better to have maybe Stature or Stinger, who are both Cassie Lang, as his signature ally, but here we are. Finally, I do find it a little strange that he has the civilian trait on his alter ego card. I think it would make more sense to let him be a burglar or an outlaw, or even have on there the wonderful genius trait. I think all three of those would fit his alter ego really well, more so than the civilian trait, but choices were made when his kit was designed. It would really represent well for him to have that genius trait to represent his electronics mastery, as well as having the outlaw trait matching his background in being a thief and a burglar, because he still uses both those skills as he's serving on various different teams. Overall, I would give the theme rating matching his cards to his history a B+. I think they did a really good job of making sure that they're keeping on point. There's still a few awkward things that go along with his kit, but overall, I think the theme is perfect. Ant-Man himself is a useful hero, able to change forms quickly and really fill in wherever your team needs it, whether in solo or hero form. Some of his best aspects can be aggression and leadership, followed by protection and justice. But even then, he is not bad in any of the four aspects. I would advise heroes trying him out first in aggression, followed by leadership. If you are looking to pick up his kit, it is worth your time. It comes with some great leadership cards that can really change up your game. Overall, I think Ant-Man is a hero worth picking up, even though some of his theming might feel a little off in his cards. Please make any additional notes in the comment section below. Agent, thank you for completing the reading of this document. Be sure to destroy all evidence of this document once you have concluded the reading. There's one final note on the document that proves the signature of Agent Sketch. That's all for now. Thank you for reading. Next time, I'll be deadly serious next time. Peace.